Welcome everyone to the Real Whovians Cast, episode 441. I am your host, Matrix Lord 212, and I'm with Brian. What's up, Brian?
Hello, what's up?
And I'm with the Ninth Doctor there. Well, awesome. Jack.
Hey, how you doing? Yeah, that's you get to when you're not sitting at home playing with puppets all day or trolling other people, you get to have jobs and pay for nice threads like this. So, good stuff.
Dude.
Yes.
It looks awesome.
Leather Blade
I
got a
saw
hell of a
some
deal on it.
blazes too on my blaze. Killed the moon. Season today I actually walked. Today was actually a pretty long coat. What did Brian? All right. Anyway, off to the weather. Back to Kill the Moon. I gotta say, I was talking to the Ronnie before, and I really like that speech that Clara gave the doctor at the end, where she told him off. She's like, "I'll slap you so." Episode 1 points right after that. I gotta say, I definitely, absolutely, and I have more respect for Clara in that sense. She really took she's really a good actress. I mean, like I actually believed that, like when she's crying and upset like that. That was pretty genuinely cool, I thought. But I'm not liking the whole thing about the egg with the moon is like an egg. That kind of like, I don't know. What do you? I mean, I'll let you. What's your opinion of the episode?
Yeah, that seemed like a little bit of a stretch when I was watching it. I mean, I understand it's a science fiction fantasy story, but I was like, yeah, okay, that's, seemed like it was pushing the envelope a little bit on that one, so. But it was a great episode overall. I thought it was
It
great.
was.
It's up there with listen so far as my contention for like the best episode thus far in the season. And I like the darker Doctor. Yeah, I think he kind of froze up there for a moment.
We just lost picture. Now we're back.
Okay.
It's gonna be one of those nights. All right, yeah, no, I actually like Listen better, and I do like Kill the Moon. After watching it a second time, I'm gonna rate it a 9. I did like it a lot. I like the special effects. I like the dialogue was pretty cool. I mean, the spiders they were awesome looking. Well, not spiders, the bacteria, but I'm a little concerned with the. We all liked it that he's the no nonsense doctor, that he's darker, that he doesn't take any crap. But I'm one to feel that it's going a little too far. Now you disagree, correct?
Well, I see where you're coming from, but I tend to be like more along the lines of that type of Doctor that's a little bit more hardcore and a little darker over like the more like the Peter Davison-ish sort of Doctor that's more of like the feckless, innocent sort of type with his companions. So to me, it's interesting to watch
All right.
Capaldi and Coleman playing off of one another with that sort of dynamic. Gives a little bit
Right.
of a bite.
I'm starting to feel I have this biggest problem I have this season. Okay, and I like the season a lot. But the biggest problem I have is the sense of when someone dies, he really doesn't care. Or even in the case of the episode Time Heist, when they were alive and they didn't really die, the two characters. And he's like, all right. It was like, really? Like the thing with the thing that bothered me about Killer Moon was when he did that whole act about not my planet, not my moon. That I understand why he did it, but how times is he on Earth? Like a million times. It's like his when time was over. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like that's his home. Okay, that's where it began. I mean, even though Gallifrey's his home, it's his home away from home. So you're going to be a little detached. You're going to be a little more, I just didn't understand like why he had to go through that whole thing. I understand that he told see, that was like a real test of their friendship, I gotta say. And now that they're not as close, I feel. I mean, if she's going to appear again, but there's going to be some dissension there, I feel.
Do you think with the Time Lords giving him a new cycle of regenerations that maybe that there's an influence there that has him being a little bit more alien and a little bit more,
No,
a little bit less warmed up to Earth as being a home as opposed to Gallifrey?
no, not at all. I think that they chose his face. Like I feel that they did, because that's a clue where they're at.
Yeah, we
Maybe
talked about
they,
that.
yeah, I think they chose his face, but I don't think they choose his personality or the way he is at all. That's him. And if you think about it from being on Trenzalore for 1,000 years, where he couldn't travel anywhere, he probably had to have some
You brought up,
subconscious thoughts of
sorry, there might be a delay on
what.
here. I was going to say you brought up an interesting thing to think about, though. If they chose his appearance, maybe they did have a little bit of an influence to choose him to be. Maybe we'll find out he's a little bit more
I
partial.
I don't think so, man.
I don't
I
know.
honestly I think the only thing they chose was his face. I don't think they chose his attitude or nothing like that. You know, I don't think they could do that. You can't remake a person. They brought the master back, to life, and they couldn't control him. Period. And he just ran off. He was supposed to be the chosen one, the one that's gonna end the time war. And he just ran off. So I don't think they have that type of influence. But his face, that's a different story.
Well, changing somebody
But
and influencing them are two different levels of qualification. I mean, you can influence someone greatly to where they change themselves, make the decision to change, but like changing something for someone, it's a completely different argument. So, but who knows? I mean, yeah, again,
I honestly think that has something to do. Like they chose his face. I don't think he chose it because he never could control it. But
what
I
about
think that
maybe a little Ballard influence?
he seems to be getting as much as I get, and believe me when I tell you, I get it. I get he is good overall, and he's leading them in directions. But it seems to me like he's taking too much of a role of a professor, trying to teach them a lesson with the chalkboard and the chalk and Clara. Like you don't need to manipulate his companion or companions like that. And I think that is kind of just she's right. It's disrespectful doing that to her. She said, like, you're doing that to everybody. You're doing it to me. I mean, I'm not feeling that. Like, seems to me like he would be the type, and I could be wrong, that he could just drop her off and not really bat an eye. And he's not getting certain things. Like, he's just not getting it. Like, how do you go from the previous incarnation would be quick to hug everybody, to be helping everybody, would risk his life and regenerations to save the Earth. And then in this case, he's like, oh, not really concerned with that, thanks.
Well, we know
You know what I'm
Colin.
saying?
Yeah,
It's like,
We know Colin Baker's doctor started a bit like off, and took him like a little while to kind of get to a sort of doctor character that we felt comfortable with, that wasn't capable of doing something like just kind of nutty. He felt
so I'm
remorseful
starting to feel,
when he thought that she had died in Trial of the Time Lord.
yeah, but then he never went back and got her. And I understand it was because the thing was canceled, whatever the thing was, and not canceled, but they wanted to go with a different doctor. They wanted to go with a different. They patched up the episode to look like that way. But
Well, she married the king, right?
what?
She married a king. Like,
Yeah, that's not believable anyway. Yeah, not at all.
strange things
You
happen
know,
in life. So.
not in fantasy Doctor Who one, but
I
but I
debate
got
my reality and my unreality show.
yeah, but I'm starting to feel uncomfortable, and it's not with his acting ability. It's I don't like certain things with the writing. that's making him do these things. Like, not care, not like, I understand he has to be sarcastic, but you have to be sarcastic 24/7. You have to do, like I was telling before, we get tired with jokes about how old are you, 35, and she's 15. Do we really need that? That's not really funny to me after the 17th time already. I mean, and then it's just, I don't want to be seeing like infighting constantly, or like if he's doing so good, people should be liking his. I mean, I understand he's not people not everybody's going to like this type of doctor, okay, but it just seems like I have that theory where he's on Trenzalore for 1,000 years. Okay, he'd be the one to hug, he'd be the one to be affectionate, he'd be Earth all the way, and then the moment regenerated it was like, oh, you know, a new lease on life, and it was like, oh, the heck with this. You know, I did too many things wrong, which he really didn't. And now he has this whole new attitude towards it, not being getting too close to anybody, you know, just having a no-nonsense, in-your-face attitude. Can't shoot me, I'll regenerate. It's like, anytime somebody says that, he's just like, go ahead. Like, and then I understand the humor. He's like, take the teacher and take the student too, because he's being funny. But, and that's another thing, that line that they added, where I could maybe be able to regenerate indefinitely. That was planted, obviously.
I like the badass doctor. I kind of like his got nothing to lose attitude for a change. You know, he's had too much guilt long enough and too much regret and everything else. Let him kind of be somebody a little different this time. Kind of like somebody who's been through a bad. It's like somebody who's been through a bad relationship where they tried and you know things they got disappointed. Where they're kind of like, hey, I'm just gonna go have my fun now and you know screw it. You know.
Yeah, but it's a thing where he goes into adventure with a whole group of people. People are going to die, which I don't like that feeling. That you know it's going to happen before it happens. Like, it's expected, where he's going to save the overall people of importance. I don't like that. Into Dalek. Well, see, here's the thing. Deep Breath, he gets upset because the dinosaur got killed. Right? We don't get that now. We get people dying left and right in every episode. It's like, all right. Like, I don't understand that. Like, he should be more. First of all, and the whole fixed point state of flux, Moffat's kind of twisting that a little bit because he's not really acknowledging it from Russell T Davies, that whole theory about, you know, fixed point times, and even he did that with the Wedding River Song, fixed points and the state of flux. He's kind of like, I mean, I don't know. How all of a sudden in this event, that we never heard about this event before, that the whole history could change from this one event, that it doesn't feel right to me. I don't know. And I was actually wrong. This wasn't written by Stephen Moffat at all. Let's see who wrote this episode. You say, and I'm just going to look to see who wrote the episode.
Sure. Actually, I think it'd be kind of interesting if we had Clara just either get kicked out or just leave on her own accord, and things weren't patched up and nicely tied up like in a little bow, and everything was okay between she and the doctor. I think it would be cool to get like a little separation between the two of them, and the new companion comes on. You know, because a little bit of reality. You know, things aren't always like tied up neat in relationships when things go bad. Right. Split. So, what did you think of Courtney's character in this episode?
I don't like her. I don't like her at all. I mean, I don't know the purpose of her being. I mean, I understand she's going to be the president of the United States, and that's why they did it. But I mean, that's just, to me, it was like, why are we bothering? Like, why is she going to be a companion for like one episode, or I mean, is she counted as a companion?
Well, I hope she doesn't stick around a long time. I mean, I don't find her that interesting, but she's like,
I mean,
okay,
maybe she doesn't count as a companion. As a companion, because did you count the kids that travel with Clara and Nightmare and Silver? Not really. So, you know.
No. Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a great episode, but the whole, and again, I loved it. Don't get me wrong. I loved the episode. I thought, I'm glad finally we get to see, once in a while off Earth. Got to see the moon, and the special effects were really nice. But again, I just want him to care a little bit, where it's like obvious and not like all these secret things to see his feelings.
Well, Sylvester McCoy's Doctor got a bit that way when they were dealing
Yeah,
with the
but
Ace
you
storyline.
knew he cared though, with Ace and all that. This one you don't know. Like you get the impression that you could be totally wrong about him, where he's unpredictable in a sense. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Like
I
I had a
think we're
hard
going
time.
with the.
We're going
I
somewhere.
think we're going to go with the Doctor. Yeah, that I think it's leading somewhere because you and I briefly discussed this earlier today on via telephone, and I was thinking about what you said when we were talking about that particular part of things. I think that they are going somewhere with that by the end of the season. That this is kind of like they're laying these things where it's going to come up and add up to something towards the end of the season with why he's acting oddly.
Right. And
'Cause I-
she's very, the way he wrote it, like she's really like they're trying to make her like the greatest companion ever. Which I love Clara, don't get me wrong, but I'm tired of it when they try to make it where she's the whole show. She's the center of the attention. She's the problem solver.
Oh, well, I don't know if this will equate in people's minds, but I like the character of Clara, but I'm just tired of seeing her. I think like she's just done already. Like I'd be happy if she were
I
gone
was
by
just
the end
I
of the
just
season and
had
they
a
just brought
podcast.
somebody else in.
I just had a podcast with Bill, and I had this thing. Well, did anybody say anything that Danny Pink said he had a bad day, or why he left the army? And I put two and two together, and I says, what if he worked for the Queen of the Nethersphere? I mean, what if he was a part of that army? Or what if he was part of UNIT? Or what if he was part of something that was out of this world? Because when it was mentioned that he's an alien, he got all upset, mean or bad, or something. Not there's aliens. It's that he knew there was aliens, but it was like, you know what I'm saying? To me, it seems like he was part of the wrong type of army, or maybe he was part of some type of outer worldly thing. I think there's something to do with his character that
Well, they're building.
he had a bad day. Why they mention that?
Well, they're building
That's like
something.
a subplot.
They're building something very purposefully towards like fracturing the relationship between the Doctor and Clara because, like in the previous episode, we had him getting into a whole squabble with Clara about the Doctor and about the Doctor being remember like an officer and he knows how officers are and this is look at him for what he really is, Clara, not for who you want him to be and all that kind of stuff. They're really going out of their way to make the Doctor somebody that you don't feel comfortable with if you put yourself in the position of the companion. So they are going somewhere with that.
Right.
And yeah, Danny
Yeah.
Pink, they've done a good job of keeping him intriguing because I thought he'd be a throwaway character that we would be like, oh, geez, I hope this guy gets killed or something. But I actually really like Danny Pink's character a lot more than Clara right now. I mean, I'd rather see Clara than Danny Pink trouble with the Doctor.
I'm glad they're not overusing him either. Like they just put him in there sporadically for now. Like he's not in full episodes.
And we
That's
had
what I
another
like.
episode minus Missy.
Mm. Yeah. Well, now do we know if Clara's in the next one?
I'm trying to recall the next time trailer if she showed up in that. I want to say yeah.
I thought in the synopsis she was in the synopsis, but then I didn't see her in the trailer at all. So I don't know if it's going to be a Clara light episode, meaning no Clara at all. Mm-hmm. So we got the Mummy one, then we got the one where the TARDIS shrinks. Obviously, we know she's coming back. And then we got this other one when she battles this. What do we have left? We have the Mummy one, the Flatline one,
Forest.
the something with Forest, and then a two-parter, and then she's in the Christmas special.
I bet she's
finished wrapping the Christmas special on Friday, by the way.
Yeah.
So
I bet she'll be gone soon.
I don't know, man. And then I'm hearing that the next season's going to be different because there's going to be different stuff with the scripts, and I'm hoping we get an episode back that we lost. You know, like the 14 count instead of 13. Because we did lose an episode this year for the scheduling.
I'm thinking, I'm more convinced now that you said that if next season's going to have a totally different tone, I really think that Clara's going to be gone. So I'm just really ready to move
think
on.
So. She may not be.
Maybe it's worth thinking on my part.
I would like her to stay. I just don't want her to be like.
But I'm afraid that's what they're going to do because see the thing is.
Hero every episode.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm afraid they've already gone to like such a length to like make her so important in the Doctor's lives or life, however you want to reference that, that they can't really come back from there because they've already gone to like a level 10. That to back off to like a level 6 or a level 5, it just is. It makes her uninteresting. Now that you know like where she's come from in his life, so.
And I don't want them to dump her where he erases a memory either or something. That would be stupid too. I don't want them to repeat that. I don't want them to where she dies either. You know, give her a happy ending, whatever. You know.
I'd rather see her actually just leave the Doctor, kind of like Tegan did. I mean, I really would like for her to leave at the end of the season and go, you know what, this wasn't what I expected it was going to be, and just was like, I'm sorry, but I can't live this way, and just leave. Because we already saw inklings of this at the beginning of the episode, where she's trying to juggle her adventures with him with her everyday life. So they're already kind of foreshadowing that there's a conflict there.
When did she know how to do everything with the TARDIS all of a sudden?
Yeah, I was kind of.
Did I miss that? I mean, she snaps the finger, so now she's linked with the TARDIS. Is that because she went through his time stream? And she's the Impossible Girl? Is that why she's linked with the TARDIS? And she was psychically linked with the TARDIS. And then now she knows the controls too. What's the deal? Like, how far are we going with this? With the TARDIS? Now the TARDIS leaves her alone all of a sudden? Like, TARDIS is cool with her? They didn't even explain why it wasn't cool with her.
Maybe they had a girls' night out and they bonded together or something, you know?
I don't know.
Female bonding or something.
And the TARDIS, he don't even treat the TARDIS right either. Kicking the door, he doesn't even like acknowledge it like it's an entity or something. It's just like, all right. It's certain. I like him, but certain things I don't like.
Well,
and
I mean,
I'm just hoping it doesn't get worse.
We had Tom Baker and Peter Davison. I mean, they would hit the console to activate things from time to time. Give it like a little elbow or a little.
Yeah, but I had no problem with them, but it's just, what was it with that shirt? Who picked that shirt out? Like,
yeah, that was more horrifying than the spiders in that episode. That polka dot shirt. Wow.
That drop. And again, like, don't get me wrong. It's like when I'm talking about it, I'm not just talking about Kill the Moon. I'm talking about the way he's being written the whole season, which they're making him so friggin' dark, where he's like close to Time Lord Victorious almost, I think, or Valyardish. Like he could go in a snap of a finger, he could just turn I feel, because what could really stop him? He's like so.
Well, and that's interesting you say that, because on BBC America, one of the 3 or 4 episodes that they played prior to Kill the Moon was Waters of Mars, and I happened to rewatch that again, and yeah, he's got like a little something going on. I think that we're gonna have a
Got
little
like
bit
an
of.
ego going on.
I'm sorry, what?
He's got like a little ego thing going on, like a chip on his shoulder, ego.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I don't know. I'm not liking that though. But see, you know what? You know what's funny? I wrote a lot. Like I thought that was like perfect with Mark Gatiss. I love Robot of Sherwood, and I like the way he wrote Peter Capaldi and Jenna Louise Coleman. You know, and then Moffat didn't do this episode, but even Moffat made him like caring, where he had to put a stop to those people. You know, he cared about, you know, the dinosaur dying and a few different things, and you know, and then we get people writing the episodes other than Moffat, but now he's throwing some stuff in there, and it's like, I don't know. I don't know who made him like this way, the Doctor. Like I'm really had a hard time with Time Heist. I gotta tell you. I mean,
Not one of my favorites either.
I just when I say bad taste in my mouth, I'm like, oh. I mean, it was passable. You know, I could watch it again, but I just had a hard time with it. You know, certain things made it passing, but he just didn't give a crap. That's right. People died, and it was like, all right, you helped me. Like, it's like the using, the manipulation, you know, and he turned out to be the architect himself, and it's like, I just don't want him to go too far. It's one thing when Sylvester McCoy tricked Davros into blowing up the sun that destroyed Skaro, okay? At the end of the day, Sylvester McCoy, like, would check in on Ace, you okay? Like, say, in Battlefield or something, and, like, he would cheer her up, especially in Curse of Fenric, when he made her lose faith in him. And then he's, like, telling her, no, I do care, and this and that, when she went for a swim, you know? But he just doesn't. Like, he told the girl she's not special at all, to manipulate her, but he could have destroyed that girl's life, that she was drinking and everything else. That Clara's like, you know, you can't do that. And then she winds up going in the TARDIS, almost getting killed. And then you turn out she's like the president, but it's like, he's cold. Like, he's saying, you're nothing special, you're this, you're that, you threw up in my TARDIS, like, you know, like he's just like yelling, and it's just very, very cold, you know, and manipulative. Like, he knew that he basically manipulated her, and he admitted it to Clara. Why go through that? So why are you testing your companion if you know that she'll make the right choice? This woman split herself a million pieces for you, and why are you testing her? Of course she got pissed off. Of course she was like almost cursing in the TARDIS, because like, how dare you? And I really don't want him to start manipulating companions. I don't want him to start like manipulating anybody like that, where, you know, like getting close to Time Lord Victorious. I don't want that. You know, he could be dark. He could be, you know,
Well, maybe
no nonsense.
maybe he's testing Clara to make sure that she's got the gravitas to be able to stand up to
Would he have to
something
test her?
by the end of the season.
Well, see, he don't even see it.
I'm sorry, you froze up for just a moment.
No,
What
I
was that?
said he don't know who Missy is. So what is he making her? What's he building for her for? I think she proved herself a
Well,
million times over.
we only know. Well, we only know what they show us. We can't just assume that just because we've only seen things based on how they've shown it to us via the episodes, that maybe somebody's not aware of things. Maybe we'll find out at the end of it we'll see a scene that sets up the whole prequel for what happens this season where the Doctor is aware of a lot of things.
Well, I got to tell you, something's going to happen with Danny Pink. Whether he's going to be, you find out he's a villain, or he's working for the wrong army, or something's going to happen. He's going to die, or he's going to be a Cyberman, or whatever these things are. That's going to happen, and she's going to be really screwed up, or something's going to happen. But I just, I'm really worried about how far they're going to make him like this.
I read something that, although it seems a bit like outlandish, that somebody was alleging that Danny Pink's like the Master, actually.
Yeah, I heard that, but that's just baloney. I don't know.
It seems a bit outlandish, but, you know.
That's craziness. I heard about that, too, but I want to be able to say, when all's said and done, that Peter Capaldi was one of my favorite Doctors. You know what I'm saying? Right now, you know, David Tennant, okay, Tom Baker, you know, and I even like Matt Smith, to tell you the truth, with things. I mean, like, a lot more. But I'm just hoping that, you know, certain things change. I mean, make him a little more caring, for crying out loud, a little more don't make him insensitive. Don't make him, he has no compassion, no morals. I don't like that. It's going too far, I think. It's going way too far.
I still think we're seeing a Doctor in transition, though, so we need to wait till
You really think so?
Yeah, because, I mean, to be honest with you, I already like Capaldi more than Matt Smith. And I didn't dislike Matt Smith. I prefer more of like I guess the darker, more action-oriented sort of Doctor, and Matt Smith seemed to be a little bit more of a kind of a after-shadowing of Patrick Troughton, which I do like Troughton's tenure also, but and I really do like.
You know what I've been watching every day? I've been watching Matt Smith every episode from beginning to end again, and I got to say I do like Matt Smith a lot. I mean, you know.
Well, Pertwee's my Doctor, so I'm always going to be partial to that. I actually, I guess if we're talking about episodes we're watching, I've been in the middle of watching The Mind Robber, which I've never seen before, that particular episode, and that's a really trippy sort of psychedelic.
Was that where
It's the Patrick Troughton episode. Yeah, you froze for a second.
When the TARDIS, okay, the Patrick Troughton episode where they were in another universe by a man, that the guy called himself Master.
Yeah, that's it.
Master, but he's not. But he wasn't the Master, but he was called the Master.
He's just the Master.
Right. I got you.
Which doesn't make a lot
of
sense, okay.
which they reused afterwards, the title The Master. Yeah. I remember that one, and the TARDIS was like just in pieces.
Yeah, it blows apart.
That was cool.
Yeah, and you got Zoe in her skin tight glitter pants and all that, and all the unicorn running around and all that crazy stuff. Yeah.
I'm just, dude. I like Capaldi. I just don't want them to make him like, you know, maybe that is some sense of truth that's the problem he's having with some of the scripts. Maybe they're making him certain things he don't like too cold, too, you know. He's having, you know. And then it's funny they bring up
now is the payoff for this fire.
I just lost you. What'd you say? What'd you say?
Yeah, let me drop out and come back in. Oh, what I was saying was, when are we supposed to see the episode that's going to be the payoff for why he has his face? You know, the fires of Pompeii. Is that supposed to be this season? Have they referenced that in one of the upcoming episodes?
I think that's next year. I think.
All right.
Next year. I think. I drop out, come back in, because I think the delay is like 11 seconds or something. Yeah, so sorry, gang, I like Kill the Moon, but I'm not liking these little snippets that they put into the Doctor for every episode that's making him very, very cold, very insensitive, very no compassion, no morals, sacrificing people to, I just not having a problem with that. Okay, you back?
Yeah, I think we're synced up now. Well, talking about
Okay.
morals too. I mean, morals may be relative depending on what morals are we basing that on? Gallifrey's morals, or because
No,
obviously they're
it's
like bricks.
not Gallifrey morals. I'm talking about his previous morals. Go by the 11th, the 10th, the 9th, okay? And just take it from there and say, okay, why is he the one? He just left her, right? I have a problem with that. And I understand why he did, but I have a problem that they would did it a different way. Like, I had a problem in Deep Breath when he just left her. I would just not. I don't like that, man. I mean, it was great acting by Jenna Louise Coleman, I gotta say. She was really great actress, but having a problem with that. I'm having a problem where he's so unpredictable. I don't want him to become like a Colin Baker,
Well, I
where,
mean,
you know,
Tom Baker just dumped off Sarah Jane.
I know that, and but still, you saw it. I understand, but it's just still.
Well, they have to. The way I interpret the way things have been playing out is I think they are making an effort to remind us of the alien qualities of the Doctor, which we would interpret as being a little less empathy towards his companions and towards other people. So we are dealing with the Doctor because remember, Moffat said he wanted to point out just how much of a different transition regeneration can actually be with the Doctor and how alien he can be.
Because
So
if you notice it, when Christopher Eccleston, Rose kept having to show him how to be like more human, and then when he regenerated, he was like a lot more human as David Tennant. You know, sort of like a combination. Like he started falling in love with Rose and Madame Pompadour and all this stuff, and then Matt Smith was kind of like didn't look back. A little more alien than David Tennant would be. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So, although I do feel that they probably would have had something develop between him and Clara. Strongly feel that way, especially the way Peter Capaldi's acting, like they're making him like he's getting all upset. That, like, it's like he didn't decide he was going to be old. He didn't decide in that regeneration he was going to be old, and then he's like, oh, he gets mad about Robin Hood or Danny Pink, you know? So.
They might have to do more with like the male ego, the alpha, rather than the love interest sort of romanticized.
And then he mentions River very highly, which, like about marriage life in Caretaker episode, which is really interesting.
Well, he could be offsetting the whole thing with why like the whole thing with kind of demonstrating the alpha male thing with the Robin Hood thing and Danny Pink. He could be bringing up River just because like Clara knows obviously that he's had a relationship with River, so he's kind of like leveling the playing field there, kind of bringing her back down off her pedestal with mentioning, oh yeah, by the way, I had this other woman that I was close enough to that I actually married her, but I'm sure you've heard all those stories. A little bit of pettiness on the Doctor's part, but
I gotta say that, and I know some of my friends are not gonna like this, but I think we need River Song soon.
I like
to kind of mix it up a little bit. I think River needs to return like Series 9 ASAP.
Well, and it'd be great to see
a little bit, shake it up a little.
Yeah, and we might see River come back and witness this behavior in the Doctor, and then set his ass straight and go, what's wrong with you? What's going on with you?
Right.
What have you become here?
Like we shaked up Clara a little bit. Now I think it's time to shake up the Doctor a little bit, and maybe have this River to coincide with his timeline where she's after the library. Something happened, she goes back in her body, nanogenes heal her body, she goes back in, and boom, she's in constant where they're not out of order anymore. She has to get another book, and start writing down adventures.
Wouldn't it be priceless to see River Song like chewing out Capaldi's doctor, and him starting to chew her back out, and her saying, "Oh, zip it," and he's like, not used to somebody talking to him that way. He's like,
That
"Oh,
would be
oh no."
fantastic.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic. Like now you need to stir up the doctor. Now he's so in control. Now you got to get him out of control. That's what I would do. I would throw her in the first three. I would have the series 9 be like a
For the
three.
moment. Yeah.
Have series 9 be like a roller coaster ride, River Song 3-parter, and just throw you for a loop. I would throw everything at the 12th Doctor in the beginning 3 episodes, the series 9. I would have them more linked, not separate, totally linked. I would have the series 9 totally linked, where it's like an adventure that has to carry over in each other for the first, and then builds up into a finale. Just everything, like everything gets thrown at him in the kitchen sink. The past comes back to haunt him. Man of Gravarian comes back. You find out the voice in the TARDIS. Maybe Omega returns. All this stuff, I would throw everything at him. And then when everything's said and done, then you start the Gallifrey story arc, which will go for Series 10. That's what I would do.
So how long do you think Capaldi is going to end up lasting as the Doctor in the role?
I have a feeling he'll leave in Series 9, but I want him to be around past that.
Yeah, I would too. So you think he'll be kind of like Colin Baker?
See, I'm having a bad feeling.
Analogy.
That I'm having a bad feeling that he's going to leave at 9, and I don't want him to, just because I don't like the way they're writing things. I think it could be fixed, but it's not him that we're doing it. It's the writing style. So I want him to stay a while, but I think he's going to leave in Series 9. I want him to stay at least to 10, because I think Moffat is going to be around for 10, and because they're going to be doing Sherlock. I really predict that. Don't even entertain that Moffat's leaving, because he's not. But
Are you getting background talk on my end?
very little, I think.
All right.
Very small.
Yeah, I think that there may be a very good chance that Capaldi will last through season 9, and they might go younger again.
I think they're absolutely going younger. I think the actor will be 27 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Or David Morrissey.
I think that boat's come and gone.
I don't think so.
I would at this point. I wouldn't want to see Morrissey really.
I would.
I think they do well with casting more unknowns to play the Doctor.
Nah, because Peter Capaldi's not an unknown, and
Well,
I would throw Morrissey in.
Yeah,
if
but
we could,
he was.
If we could only get Morrissey for a year, I would take Morrissey.
Yeah, but you like Morrissey. That's why you've got a confirmation bias.
I've always liked Morrissey before even Walking Dead.
Yeah, but I think he's too closely attributed to that character to take on something iconic like Doctor Who. I mean, I like David.
It's believable because look at Romana. Romana took the form of Princess Astra, so why not?
Right.
He could take the appearance. He saw the face just like Peter Capaldi, like the 12th Doctor. Took the appearance of the Pompey, the guy. So why not David Morrissey?
I like more unknowns.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just don't. I think that like when you come into the role of the Doctor, it's kind of like it's good if that makes a name for you, rather than the other way around where you come into it with a name already and you play the Doctor. Because see, then the problem is you're watching that actor that you are so familiar with playing the Doctor, rather than watching the Doctor and, oh, that's this actor. I'd rather see it that way. Because it'd be the problem, like, think about it, like if somebody famous like Johnny Depp, like just a name off the top of my head, played the Doctor, you'd be watching Johnny Depp playing the Doctor. You wouldn't be watching like, this is an actor who's just named Johnny Depp playing this character.
More than likely, it would probably be like Robert Downey Jr. playing the Doctor anyway. I would see that.
Let's hope not. I don't want to see it get that commercialized.
But I could see him playing Doctor Robert Downey Jr. Be pretty funny, I think. But to tell you the truth, I think that I'm really worried about them regenerating when the time comes Capaldi into a woman. I think Moffat's going to do that before he leaves. I think he's going to do that. He's going to regenerate the Doctor into a woman right before he leaves.
Into what?
A woman.
Oh, God. Let's not...
I think he is. I think he's going to before he leaves. I think he's absolutely going to.
Are you picking up that in the background? I'm just making sure. I just didn't want to... Tell me if you hear something. No, that's all right.
All right.
No, we can go on with it. I'm just saying, tell me if you hear any dialogue.
I think he would experiment with making the Master a woman or whatever, but then I think eventually the end goal is he's going to be the one to do it. Moffat.
Let's hope not. That shit won't fly with the fans.
He doesn't care.
Well, screw him then. Throw him out. I mean, that shit's not going to fly with the fan base. Nothing's going to destroy this franchise like making the Doctor a woman. And I'm not being a misogynist jerk by saying that. I really think that you can't... I don't think you can drastically alter like the base nature of what that character is to that degree.
They do it in this day and age with the comic book characters like Thor being a woman, which I'm not even going to get into now, but
yeah, but no one
stuff I don't agree with, but
no one reads comics anymore. I mean, Doctor Who's a big that's just too much money for a franchise for them to shoot themselves in the foot like that. I mean, think about like franchises like the James Bond franchise. There's certain things that you have to adhere to, and one of them is Bond has to be a guy.
Right.
You can't have James Bond film and it be a woman, and then people are like, "What is this crap?" That's kind of the whole thing. It's when you franchise something, you got to go in the front door knowing what you're buying. That's what consumers want.
So let's just hope that they don't. I mean, honestly, I think of course the next Doctor's going to be younger, but we shouldn't even have to worry about that because Peter Capaldi should stay a couple years and have a nice run. At least I hope so.
Hey, Clara, could you shut up a little? Thank you.
Yeah, it's definitely a time for blazers, too. I gotta get some new blazers myself.
Yeah, it's definitely getting cool down here, so... God, it must have been 89 degrees today. It's gotten cold.
Well, for you, it was 48 or 46 this morning.
Oh.
So, yeah. Pretty cold, so. All right, gang. Hope you enjoyed this episode of Whovians Cast. I don't know. You think you're going to like the next episode?
It's going to be difficult for them to top Listen and Kill the Moon, but I think it's going to be a good episode. I think I think Time Heist has probably got the lowest rating to me, and not because it's like horrible. I just don't know the others.
Not horrible. I mean, I give it a passing grade. I mean, but again, too, though. Now I'm trying to think of something I really didn't like Cold War, and then try to compare it with that. I think I would probably like. I don't know. I don't even want to go there. Okay. I can tell you. I don't like Cold War.
I can tell you that Listen and Kill the Moon, I enjoyed better than probably. And let me make sure I'm being honest with myself before I actually share this with you. I prefer it probably more than a lot of Matt Smith's episodes in general, other than maybe like, the anniversary film and the odd special here and there. Because I just like I like his portrayal a lot better.
Yeah. All right. That's going to be it for this episode. We may be back in a little while. Take care, my friend.